Okay, so there's this psychologist and professor by the name of Brian Little, who's really seemed to be very outgoing, and he's really loved by his students. He's really inspiring toward them. But after the lectures would conclude, like he'll be notorious for going into the bathroom and actually hiding from them and not wanting to interact with them. And what's the reason behind this? He, along with me and about a third of the population of the world, is an introvert. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that. When you think about introversion and where it kind of first came from, a guy by the name of Carl Jung, I think I pronounced his name correctly, but that guy, he was a psychologist. He basically did a lot of research, and he determined that people have one of two main basic personality types. They're either an extrovert, you're external, or you're an introvert, which is internal. And the characteristics of an extrovert are pretty obvious. These are very, very sociable, gregarious people. They really enjoy the company of others. They really like being around people and really are energized by social interaction. While the characteristics of an introvert, they're more internal. They're more focused on what they're thinking. They tend to be more reflective, and they're more analytical and observant. They tend to notice things that people usually don't notice, and they're very deep thinkers. They're very profound thinkers. They tend to really analyze, and even when they're plagued with having to make a decision, they think about it from every single angle, sometimes 3, 4, or 5 times. Just make sure they're really good decision makers. So, and then in social settings, where you can just kind of differentiate extroversion and introversion. Introverts, well, everybody has this social battery that they operate on. And introverts, the way they gain energy is kind of different. They gain energy from being alone, from having alone time. And they have a battery that kind of depletes as they're conversing with people, as they talk. With extroverts, their battery, they gain energy by, being around people, being in social settings. It actually goes up, and it actually depletes whenever an extrovert is alone. So that's the difference between it there. And for friendships between an introvert, they usually tend to be, in general, they usually tend to have very few friendships, but they're really deep friendships, whereas an extroverted person, they would have like multiple friends in which they may or may not have a really deep, close relationship with. And there's a lot of misinterpretations about what an introvert is, and a lot of misconceptions I kind of wanted to kind of go over, and I have about 3 or 4 of them. And myth number 1 is introverts, they don't like talking. This could be the furthest thing from the truth. What introverts don't like is small talk, with things like, hey, how's the weather going? What's your favorite color? Those tiny little things. They don't like small talk. But if you switch that topic to something that they're really passionate about, you can very well have an introvert that can go on talking for hours at a time. And myth number 2, they don't like people. They're usually, just because of how reserved they tend to be, a lot of people perceive them as not really liking people, and they're showing that by being quiet and not really, opening up to people. But that's the furthest thing from truth. As I look around at all you, I genuinely can't say that I do actually like you guys. I actually hope that everything in you guys' life works out for you, and I just hope, and y'all, I've heard your speeches and stuff, and y'all kind of seem like really good people. And that's just the furthest thing from the truth, is that introverts don't like people. They're usually being reserved because their battery is just depleting from conversation. They might not be charged, and it's very draining to converse with people for an introvert. And myth number 3, they always like being alone. They always like being in public. They don't like being in public. They always like being alone, which that is another fallacy as well. We can really enjoy being in public, but it just depends on where our social battery is at. If it's like almost depleted, or completely gone, we tend to not really like social situations or being in public. But if it's full, however, we really do love and thrive in being in public. And finally, myth number 4 is that introverts can't have careers that are oriented around communication and speaking to people. And that's again furthest thing from the truth. The professor that I described earlier, he was a very famous public speaker and as well as a professor. And there are many great public speakers and leaders and things like that are just within the world. There's some famous introverts, to kind of name just a few. You have Abraham Lincoln. These are all self-proclaimed introverts, by the way. Abraham Lincoln, Rosa Parks, even our current president, Barack Obama, he's an introvert. Albert Einstein, Gandhi, and people like that. Like, they're all self-proclaimed introverts, but yeah, they did great things within their respective fields. And definitely, introverts, they can thrive. Yeah, they can thrive in careers that are geared more toward communication just as much as an extrovert can, just as long as they have that full battery. And then just in conclusion, just to kind of wrap up everything, introverts, whenever they're at class and they have that battery that depletes from small talk, you can actually be added to like with something that they're passionate about, but it depletes with small talk. They're more thinkers than sayers, and they definitely gain energy from just being alone and being by themselves. And just to end, just off on a good note, the world really appreciates and it really thrives off of diversity. No matter what personality type you have, whether it be extrovert, introvert, or ambivert, which is a combination of the two, you're a valuable asset to the world. And thank you.